Konnichiwa, Kawaii Critic here to do another My Little Pony video, and I know that if you've seen the previous videos, you might be wondering why, but I did have one other concept to talk about before closing this chapter, so I'm here to do a little quick talk about how Season 7 of My Little Pony could have been better than it is now. And this video is mainly going to be talking about two solutions that I've came up with after thinking about it for a really long time, or just long enough to compile this video, even though it's not officially scripted or anything like that. Regardless, the first solution I came up with is to get rid of the legends of the comic book stories, and that would get rid of a lot of episodes, but I think they could have easily been replaced with episodes that could have just been about any other number of topics. I'm sure they could have, or will be saving for Season 8, but whatever. So there's that. But then the big question would probably automatically become, well, what about the season finale? Because it is all about the legends coming together and teaming up together to face off of another legendary character, or a character who wanted to be a legend and kind of got left in the dust. Well, there is an interesting alternative to what we got, because what we got kind of ruined some of the characters, some of the legends that we got to know, which is kind of bizarre considering that all this build-up was for the legends, but the Season 7 finale kind of ruined some of them for us. So, my first solution is in consideration of one of the previous videos my brother made about Spiky-kun being the main villain of a season. And why not have him be the villain of this season? I mean, I believe it was Dr. Wolf-san who said that Spiky-kun is a lot like the character Stygian-san. So we could easily replace Stygian-san with Spiky-kun. And think about this perspective, it would have had a lot more impact if it had been Spiky-kun instead of Stygian-san. We've been following him for the previous seasons. We know his character a lot better than we know Stygian-san, so we don't have to build the character up from anything because we already have material. Now, what makes this even more interesting is that we've seen Spiky-kun deal with being somewhat of a hero, but sort of also being mischievous. He's sort of been this counter between a hero and a villain on different occasions, and yeah, sure, you could argue that some of those episodes weren't as great, but they served to perhaps what could have been a greater purpose for Spike to finally start questioning how the rest of the characters feel about him, and it could have all boiled down in this season. In fact, they could have even had some episodes this season to replace those that would have been left or forgotten or erased or whatever you want to call it, to deal with Spiky-kun's, transition into that thought process, just in case it wasn't going to be made clear before. And you know what? Just to make it even more interesting, I think something that would have been more interesting than a pony of shadows is a dragon of shadows. Come on! That already sounds cooler, and maybe they would have made a cooler design in the process. I mean, the pony of shadows design isn't really all that great to begin with, let's be honest here. At least in my opinion, it's awful. I mean, sure, its animations are great, but that's about it. So that's it for the first solution. The second solution, if they were to keep the legends around, probably would have been a bit more risky, but I think it would have also been greatly appreciated, and that's to have Star Swirl-san sacrifice himself again to save Stygian-san and have him be the solo hero of Season 7 and have him die in the process. Yes, I said die, D-I-E, die, as in actually get killed in the show. Now, for those who are getting all panicked, there have been characters who have died in this show before. Sombra-san, he got obliterated into the nothingness. And then you had, the Apple parents, which are elusively dead and have been confirmed dead for, a while, but we had that episode in season 7, so yeah, there's that. So death is nothing new to My Little Pony, so why not make the grand entrance of this character that has been built up for so long, have his sacrifice actually mean something? I think that would have been a lot more impactful if they did go through the plan to sacrifice themselves again and actually be completely lost in the process. I think that would have been a greater send-off for those characters, because now otherwise they're gonna have to come back, or they're kind of left just hanging around Ponyville, which would be really awkward and bizarre. And the possibilities just get put down the drain, on top of already being ruined by some other characters, but that's another story. So those are my 2 ideas on how Season 7 could have been better, particularly probably in the season finale, and I know that would have had to have had some altercations of how to change some other episodes around, but it's, again, just a quick thoughts video, so what can I say? So that's the end of this video. Stick top Peng Tong Tori! And if you enjoyed this video, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you also feel up to it, please head over to the link in the description that will lead you into my Patreon. This will help me if you donate any amount, as I'm kind of alone now. So please help me if you feel up to it. Until then, bye!